Um, Good morning, good evening, uh, from wherever you are watching from, standing on the assistant protocol. I want to thank Dr. Stephen Akintayo and his team for putting this together. And I do not take it for granted. I want to appreciate my dear brother, Dr. Stephen, for his humility, his boldness, his business savvy, and the grace for building continental and transgenerational wealth. Also, I want to welcome all of you to this great event. I was inspired by uh, the delivery by Miss Ibukun Awoshika, uh, who I believe is an Ondo connection, married to an Ondo man. And I'm from Ondo town, so I believe that today is Ondo Day, you know. And I, uh, I was inspired with the amount of scriptures she was rolling out. There's an interference from somewhere. Jackson, if you may, thank you, sir. And I know my wife and my children are watching in the background. So it's an interesting day. So today I'm not coming here as a pastor. I'm coming here as a lawyer, and to just give us uh, brief instructions, advice in terms of acquiring properties around the world. The world has become a global stage. It has become a global world, and you can have properties anywhere in the world today. But also, I want you to understand, which is great, what Dr. Stephen is doing, helping people to find fulfillment and also to build what I call transgenerational wealth. Every time I see him moving, I hug him from afar. Great, great, great impact he's making in our world. You know, ownership is everything. Ownership is everything. Um, you know, there is a law, there is a rule, there is a saying here that he who owns the land owns what is on it and also what is above it. So if you see a helicopter above your house, you can you can sue them for being there. And also, when it comes to money, money grow wings like a bird and flies away. No amount of money can keep you secure because you can lose your investment in a day. I remember Dr. Ibukun Awoshika said something about 2008. In 2008, I lost 200,000 pounds in shares in Nigeria during the global meltdown. One day, 200,000 pounds disappeared. So what you do is that when you buy properties or when you buy lands, they are secure investment. And if you have issues, believe me, or you have problem, you have financial hardship, in most cases, you may not be able to sell that property or the land before the problem is solved. So it is very, very important. But also, getting assets, getting land, buying properties are fraught with a lot of dangers. I'm dealing with a lot of cases in UK courts, you know, of people that lost their life investment through being naive in terms of investment. So I'm just going to uh, start by giving you the first point on uh, anti-money laundering laws that operates in the United Kingdom. For example, some of you guys that are now, moving to the UK, coming here, buying properties, especially fellow Nigerians are very, very desperate because if they enter today, they want to buy a property tomorrow. You've got to be careful what you do, how you bring in money. Why? Because of poker, Proceeds of Crime Act of 2002, and also there's the Anti-Money Laundering Regulation of 2018 that says money that this source is not very clear as potential proceeds of crime, and then as monies from criminal activities, and lawyers, we are required to report any activities, any financial activities that is suspicious. So it is very, very important to understand that if you make your money and you are buying properties, especially in the Western world and in the United Kingdom, you have to make sure that the sources of your money are clean. If you make money in your home country, I don't know, wherever you are now, and you want to buy property in the United Kingdom, make sure that the source of the money is very, very clear. Because if you want to buy property here, we are uh, compelled by law to know the sources of the funds, where you are getting it from. And some of you guys, this Gen Z generation and the Gen S generation, you are very smart. You make money online, a lot of dollars. Some of you are in Nigeria or in Ghana, and you are paid in dollars, and you make these monies, but you don't pay tax on them. And then all of a sudden, you are acquiring property. If you buy property in the UK here, they can come after you. Number one, they want to know the sources of the funds. You can get away with a lot in Nigeria, which is my home country, but here they can come after you after some years through poker, Proceeds of Crime Act, and take your property from you. I dealt with a case 2003 that the guy bought 9 properties, and then the police, and one of the property transaction went wrong, and they came after him, and they took 8 out of those properties from him. He lost all the investment worth millions. It was too late before he came to me with the last property, and we were able to get that one for him, but he lost the rest. So I want you to understand that if you live abroad and you want to buy properties in the UK, you have to do due diligence with the source of your money, sources of your money. I'm going to tell you some of the things you can do. First of all, you've got to make sure that the source of your money or sources are established. So if you are working and they are paying you money, maybe they are paying you, make sure you keep the invoices, make sure you keep the evidence of payment, make sure you keep the record of the dates of payments. It is very, very important. And also make sure you do your account in a way that you account for your income to
Dele,
say, well, sorry for looking, can I help you?
I think you're
Yeah.
talking about yourself. You say Dele more on the show. Close your life.
Yes. So, please follow Ajayi.
English.
Please mute yourself. Thank you. Um,
Hmm?
now, um, so you've got to keep that record. Believe me, things do happen that even after buying your properties,
Femi,
uh,
Femi Lataro.
Jackson, can you please
What's that?
mute
What
Loke
did you say?
Ajayi?
You were saying something, Priya. Is that not why I'm calling you? Share work with me.
Sorry, can someone mute for Loke Ajayi?
You're joking.
Um, so keep the evidence of your income. It is very important. If you are operating a company, keep a record of your accounts. If you send money from a foreign country to the UK, is a proper solicitor. We ask for the evidence, the sources of the income. I was acting for someone recently and wanted to send £600,000 from Nigeria. I asked for the evidence of the money, where he got it, the source of the funds, the receipts, the bank statements. I really pressed him. He was surprised because he's a friend of mine and I've acted for him on various transactions, but I pressed his neck. I had the evidence before I proceeded with the transaction, which was in litigation. To get some of his property that were taken from him back. He remitted the money. I pressed his neck so that if the Law Society comes or the Solicitors Regulation Authority comes, I will be able to show them the evidence that I did due diligence. Keep the evidence of your transactions. Also, I know that our home country in Nigeria is a bit warped up in terms of financial system. A lot of you cannot get foreign currencies from the bank. So you use borrow the change to get money. You use the bookies. You go to them, you buy your foreign currencies. I'm going to tell you, every money you buy from today, you must get the evidence. You must get a receipt to show that you bought the money from somewhere. And if you think you have a future, you must get a receipt. And also, you must show you must show a link between the money and the receipt they gave to you and the naira you gave to them. So it must show on your transaction. Don't go to them with cash, especially if you are buying a lot of foreign currencies. But if you go with them to them with money, cash, make sure you have the receipt, the date you bought it, the date you withdrew it from the money from your account. And I'm going to suggest that if you have a lot of money, maybe someone gave you cash and you want to use it to buy foreign currencies, I will say pay into your bank account and then withdraw it before you take it to the foreign the currency seller, so to show a link between the money you use to buy the currency and the currency you bought. I will also talk of record keeping. That you must line this receipt up, take a picture with your phone, and email them to yourself for future purposes. The way you can bribe EFCC or the police in Nigeria, you can't do it here. If you cannot prove the evidence of how you got your money, you can't say, God sees me, I'm telling the truth. That will not be enough. They need objective evidence. So I've seen a lot of people that the banks here will just freeze their account, students transfer, sending money through bureau de change and all that. And if you are not able to prove the sources of your money, of the money you send to people here or to your bank account, they will freeze it and you will lose the money. I'm currently dealing with a case of someone that wanted to pay for a building, £120,000, and he got the bureau de change guys to help him to transfer the money to the UK, to the UK solicitors or property agents. Now, what happened was that when they paid that money, it was not paid in his name, but they paid it for him using people that are in the UK. They will send pounds to those ones. Those ones will send naira, where they put naira in their account. And then when the police asked for the evidence, he didn't have the evidence to show that the money was for him. And the solicitors refused to refund the money because he couldn't prove that the money belonged to him. And then the people that transferred the money, maybe they also were doing something dodgy. When he asked them to come forward, they disappeared. They said, no, they are not coming. So he lost money. I have another case of what, £360,000. The woman wanted to buy a property in the UK and met someone who called himself an agent in Nigeria. Now, I'm paid £360,000 in naira into that guy's account to buy a property here in the UK, cash to buy a property, and the guy went and used the money to buy 3 different properties in his own name. We are still on the case. So I'm going to caution you, don't give your money to anybody to buy properties in their name. Over the years, I've dealt with a lot of cases that people bought the property in their name and they refused to hand it over. If you live abroad, if you have your money and the sources of your money are genuine, you can buy property in the UK without living here. All you need to do is to get property agents and also make sure you work with a solicitor. And I'm going to say to you again, I say this to our shame as fellow Nigerians, we are always in a rush. We are always in a rush. And also we want to do things in a hush-hush manner. And we do things without getting proper advice. Don't ever hand over your money to anyone, regardless of how trusting they are, without having an agreement. So if you are going to buy me a property in the UK and I'm in Nigeria or anywhere around the world, you must draft an agreement. Get a lawyer to draft an agreement and get it signed as to the terms of your dealings or transaction. Don't say I trust you. No one can be trusted. I was listening to Dr. Ibukun Awochika. I was listening to Dr. Stephen Akintayo talking of how people try to blackmail you, how we are all victims of blackmail. They do it daily, but they can't stop our glory. Come on, somebody. So, about what I'm trying to say to you, don't say, I trust you. Don't trust anyone, even your brother. Draft an agreement witnessed by a solicitor so that when it comes to litigation, EFCC may want to say the Metropolitan Police here may want to see it, and then you have something to do. Don't just give your money to anybody, because no one can be trusted in this day and age. So beware of buying properties in people's name. Beware of giving people money without an agreement. Also, keep the evidence of all transactions. So I dealt with the case of a woman who paid someone £470,000, and I wanted to put a charge on the person's property in the UK so that he will not be able to sell the property and run away. But I couldn't do it because this person who paid £470,000 to him could only get receipts of £280,000. I said, where are the receipts? She couldn't produce it, and she didn't even know the bank account from which she paid the money. I'm going to say to you, if you are going to send several transactions, you are going to send money with several transactions, I'm going to say this: don't use different banks. Okay? Stick to one bank so that when you are trying to compile your evidence, the evidence of the payment, you only use maybe a UBA or a GT Bank or a Keystone Bank for this property transaction. Don't send one from UBA, send one from GTB, send one from Dele Bank, and all that. And when it comes to proving that you remitted money to this person, you are not able to do it. So I'm just trying to say to you that you got to be careful, and I'm sticking to law. Also, beware of starting a transaction or getting properties in any part of the world without getting a lawyer. I remember when we wanted to buy a property in Nigeria, and some years, I think about 13, 14 years ago, and they said, oh, you are a lawyer, and you don't need a lawyer, so this or that. I said, but I'm a lawyer who is based in the United Kingdom. I don't operate in Nigeria. And the guy said, oh, no, we can just do. No, I got a lawyer. I paid the lawyer 7 million naira to represent my interest. And we've been in the property for over going to 13, 14 years. We had no issues. I remember when we wanted to buy a church building in the United Kingdom, and they said I didn't need a lawyer. The committee of the church, they said I didn't need a lawyer. You are a lawyer, you can do it. I said, no, I'm not going to do it myself, because most times we are not very careful when it comes to dealing with our own matter. We do other people's cases well, matters well, investment well, and we toy with our own. So I got a lawyer, and we paid the lawyer £9,000 to do the transaction, and he got it done, sealed. We have been in the property for 13 years. We had no issues. Now, other pastors saw that, some pastors saw that we got a property and they didn't get a lawyer. They said some people in their church said they are lawyers, and then they went to buy properties without planning permission, not knowing that they could not use it as a church or for a community. And some of them lost £360,000. Some of them lost £500,000. And the church scatter, because when the members saw that the money was gone, they left the church. Get legal advice. getting legal advice to advise you, I want to do this, 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 is to make sure you don't throw good money away, is to make sure that you don't throw good money away by buying a bad property. So I know some pastors in the UK that bought some properties, and for the past 9 years, they have not been able to use the property for anything, and the money is just sitting there, and they couldn't sell it. So be careful in your desperation. Make sure that you don't just do things and all this, I trust you, I trust you. Don't trust anybody when it comes to your money, so that you are not back to square one. Because if you suffer setback in the area of money, you may not recover for the rest of your life. I remember I was in Dubai. I wanted to buy a property there, myself and my wife, and they took us around. We looked at this and that, and they wanted us to sign an agreement. Even though I'm a lawyer, I said, no, I'm not signing. I said I needed to speak to a lawyer, and I got one, and he advised me that they are fraudsters. I shouldn't put my money into it. I would have lost money. I remember we were in the Bahamas, and they wanted us to, in 2006, again with my wife, the usual suspect. And we got there, and we got there. They wanted us to sign an agreement on a property. I said I needed a lawyer. I remember when we wanted to buy a Spanish property, I said I needed a lawyer. I got legal advice, and we bought it, and there was no issue. So I am saying to you guys, my time is up. I am saying to you, get legal advice before you do anything. You are not throwing money away. Actually, you are saving money by making sure you are well guided by someone that knows what they are doing, that knows the rules, that knows the regulations, and also they can advise you on the choice areas where you can buy property. I remember we bought a property in 2002 for 60,000. It's now worth 750,000 pounds. So there are places you buy and things grow, and there are places you buy and things go down. I believe my time is up, and I like to keep to time. You gave me half an hour, and I'm done. I hand over the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a great pleasure to have heard you speak about the importance of making sure that we're doing things above board for due diligence intact. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, put your emojis up. This was so apt. He didn't just come to us in the office of a pastor, he came to us and as a legal advisor. Really, the advice you got today was very apt. So please throw your questions in the comments below. We do have about 10 minutes of Q&A to ask. And please throw your questions in the Q&A chat. So very important, you need to have your lawyers because they make sure they cover and protect you. It's an investment when you invest in a lawyer because they can save you the heartache and pain of the future. Very important. In the Q&A chat, please put your questions in the Q&A box down. Please get your questions ready. I would like to ask a question while they're gathering the questions, sir. And my question is, how do people get over the mindset of, because if you're doing a transaction in your mind, you think that's just additional cost. I know a cousin who knows somebody, and they'll get it done that way. And you and I know that sometimes that can be disastrous. What advice do you have, sir, for people who have that kind of mindset in terms of our transactions?
I mean, we all suffer from a bit of naivety in that you know, we depend on friends and families close to us to live a fulfilled life. And then in most cases, when we want to do things, they are the people we relate to. But when it comes to money, when it comes to properties, you've got to do it the right way. Because if you get it done through I know this person, believe me, the highest area of fraud is in property acquisition, in buying lands. Some of the lands and properties that were destroyed in Lekki Aja axis, there were properties that people know they did not have the planning the permission, that though it was government land or for places that they'll be using for roads facilities in the future. So if you do due diligence, you get a lawyer to check the title deed. If I want to buy any property anywhere in the world, I'll make sure I verify the authenticity of it. Some of you wanting to buy lands in Nigeria, some of the lands they've sold it to 4 or 5 people. But if you get your lawyer to inquire from the land registry, they will know the lands that are genuine. But if you don't want to spend the little money, you are going to lose the big money. Do due diligence. Do due diligence. I remember the day we bought our church in the United Kingdom. A guy from the council came and came on the first day that we were going to worship there. He came and I was with my 2 sons and who are also lawyers, but they couldn't believe the way I treated the guy from the council. So he came and he said, what are you doing here? I said, where are you from? I said, from the council. I said, if you know what you are doing. I said, this building has been certified as a place to make noise since 1993. I don't know how old you were then. I said, don't let me ever see you here again. He hasn't been back for 13 years. So do things the right way and you will have confidence. Also, I want you to understand that these properties you are buying is not just for you. Deuteronomy 29:29, I believe, I didn't want to quote, but let me quote, because Dr. Ibukunwa did a lot. So let me, enjoy my grace too. That which has been revealed to you is not only for you, but to your children and your children's children. Now, watch this. Don't forget that, yeah, you may trust the person, but anything can happen to anyone at a time. People don't die according to how old they are. Anyone can die anytime. So any property you are getting, any land you are getting, any transaction you are getting, you must make sure you do it properly because of your wife, because of your children, because of your grandchildren, so that you don't labor all your lives and you have nothing to pass to your generation. I've seen a lot of people, I've dealt with a lot of cases that the person will buy properties through someone, and the moment they die, that person will sit on the properties and their children will be suffering. Do it well. Do it well. I cannot overemphasize this. Do it well. Do it well. Because I remember when people call me for immigration advice, or for family or criminal matter, and I said, well, you are paying a consultation fee. They will hiss and go away. And then we go and pay this certificate of sponsorship fraudsters, 10,000, 13,000 pounds. And then they defraud them. They will give them a false COS. And then they cry back to me. And I'll say, your legal fee is 3,000 pounds. And they say, sir, we are ready to pay. They were supposed to pay something less than 300 pounds for legal advice. The same thing in property transaction. Do it well. Even if it is a development, even if it is an estate, do it well. Because make sure that all the taxes, all the payments that the owners of the estate are supposed to pay to the government are paid. Because I saw a case in Lagos where they, after 7 years of living there, they asked all those who are in the estate to come, I think maybe land duty or stamp duty, I don't know what it is. I don't. They asked them to come and pay 50 million naira each. And they asked me to pay. I told them to get lost because I made sure everything was done properly. Do it well, guys. Do it well.